So let's jump into the rest of everything then. This is where it gets fun. So bass is super simple. Normally I'll do 2 or 3 different bass tracks and process them differently. But again, since this isn't a rock or metal record, I didn't need that. So all we did was when I went through and recorded bass, it was just me on my ESP 6 string, and I just single track, just played it once. There wasn't much to it. All I needed to do was, we've got a bit of a high pass filter going on. We cut a bit of the muddy, boxy frequency stuff at right around 1K, and then I boosted somewhere around 8 or 9K. Where are we here? Just about 8K. So we could bring out just a little bit of the string attack. Other than that, all we have is this L2, is this limiter. It's an L2 limiter. We're almost using it as a brick wall type thing. So all it does is just pick up the super loud peaks of the bass, which there are none there, but like this part. When the bass gets down lower, like into the stuff in C, it starts to get a little boomy, and so this limiter will pick up on that and just attenuate that down a little bit. Okay, so guitars. There are 3 guitar players in the band, so each person got a double track, and that was it. So we didn't add any more unless it was solo parts, and which you can tell I didn't actually play here. My labeling scheme is super off, so ignore that. The top 2 are Grant, so solo these first. So again, super raw. You can hear the fluctuations from left to right, but I think that leads to the actual tone of the record that we're going for. So I like it a lot. And what was interesting, if I can pull this out really quick, we actually recorded Grant's guitar on his favorite microphone ever. This is the MXL 990 Patriot. It's like $100 or something. It's super cheap, but for some reason it had almost a tinny quality to it, which I thought actually sounded pretty cool when you mix it in with 4 other guitar tracks. So if you notice, his sound's a little bit thin. That was done on purpose. And the next 2 down are Steve. So his was done on a Warm Audio WA87. So it's the Neumann U87 clone. Much more smooth and warm sounding, which is it's a contrast. It helps add some vibrance to the mix when you mix the thin Grant guitars and the really warm Steve sound. So if we mix those 2 together, we get something like this. That's a bad example. There's a lot of stuff going on. This looks good. How about this? So it definitely sounds like 4 guitars there, but at the same time, it's a very big, full sound. And it's hard to fill up all this space with, acoustic guitars. You don't get these big, huge, explosive rock sounds. But we made it work, and it actually sounded pretty good, so didn't have any issues there. The next 2 down are me. So my double track acoustic guitars. Again, everything's not perfect left and right, but that leads to almost a bigger sounding mix. And what's really cool is when you get all 6 of them together. So there's literally 6 guitars going on at certain parts. So this is Grant's. So like almost a lead part, but not really. Then you got Steve. Which is a harmony, or I think Grant's doing the harmony. And then mine, which is the actual chords. But you put them all together, you get this really big sound. Things are good. I didn't do much editing to these things. The most that I did was like a low end cut, just a small bell cut, like a -3 decibel chop at 1, and then like a 3 dB boost at 2.5K. Just these really subtle moves, and then there's of course a low and a high pass filter going on. But not much here. The only really big thing that we did was on the actual guitar bus. There's a stereo EQ here. We just shelved at around 8K. Just needed a little more high end to everything. So like if I were to take this off, there we go, take that off. It just adds some more top end, makes it a little brighter, which is good. There's nothing it's really fighting against. So we can kind of boost frequencies and not have many issues when trying to fight other instruments. And we go down here. So we've got double tracked acoustic solos. So there are certain parts where I have like guitar solos basically. And I decided certain parts sounded better acoustic and certain parts sounded better electric. So for all of the solo acoustic stuff that I did, I double tracked. And this time I decided to harmonize, but normally I'm just doing the same thing. So you can see these are edited a little bit more, or not edited, processed a little more. There's reverb. They're a little smoother, so there's a little more EQ going on these things. These are just some extra cuts that we did after this round of That's Compression, and then this round of EQ. Then, kind of the biggest shock is there is an electric guitar in this, and it's the big solo. So let me play the part, and then I'll show you how I process this. So it's a wild lead sound, but at the same time it's very reined in and controlled. So check this out. First thing we did was went through and cut out these problem frequencies, high and low pass, and we cut out these 2 fairly thin notches around 5 or 6K. Then we have an R channel strip. So we've just got a slight round of compression and then another almost smiley face type of curve. We got a boost here at around, 300, and then a cut at around 1K or so. A round of tube compression, so not much saturation. We're just compressing the sound, trying to keep it reined in a little more. And then this plugin, this is the Wonder plugin. So this is Soothe by Oek Sound. I think that's how you say it, OEK Sound. And what it does is it's basically like a smart EQ. it detects frequencies that are too loud, basically. These harsh frequencies that like to cut through and really fatigue your ears quickly, and they'll cut it out. So check this out. Let me turn that off and play this. It's got a lot of that like radio static, like 5K noise is how I describe it. So I turn on Soothe. Check this out. And all these moving things, those were the frequencies it was cutting. So a lot of stuff around 2 to 4K, some in the 5 to 8K range. Cuts out a lot of harmful gross stuff. And it's also cutting down here, which was kind of interesting. There must be some low end buildup I wasn't noticing. And then just a round of just the standard stock plug-in stereo delay. Nothing too crazy, just to give it some extra ambience.